This is a video detailing the creator class that I just added to Leucadia. Now, the whole idea behind the creator was to have an engineer, a character that would build stuff to benefit him, not necessarily relying on his attacks, but rather his position and when/where he builds and destroys things. That being said, the creator has two stances: build, which is depicted by this green wrench, and destroy, which is depicted by this red, I guess you can't really see the red, but hammer. Now, depending on which stance you're in, you can either build turrets to debuff your enemies, or destroy turrets to directly aid yourself. No matter what, you can throw bombs as your regular attack, which explode on impact, dealing a decent amount of AoE damage. Now, going into the build stance spells. So the first spell builds a missile shooting turret, and it shoots out a seeking laser at enemies in a medium radius around it. So about like that. That's kind of unclear, but the second spell builds a damage reducing turret. So the whole idea is when enemies are in a small radius around it, they deal reduced damage. And the third spell is a slowing turret, and it affects enemies in a large radius around it, slowing them a large amount. Now, in the destroy stance, each turret does something that aids you directly. So, for instance, if I destroy the slowing turret, I'm going to get sped up quite a bit. Then, if I destroy this damage reducing turret, I will get a shield that absorbs a set amount of damage. Something to note is that it has a duration, so either after it wears off or after it absorbs a set amount of damage, it will explode, dealing the same amount of damage that it absorbed over its whole duration. So if it absorbed no damage, then it does no damage. But if it absorbed the max damage, it'll deal full damage. So if you're willing to get in there and absorb a lot of damage, then it's high risk, high reward almost. And if you destroy this damage shooting turret, you can't see now because there's no enemies, but 3 missiles will shoot out, dealing quite a bit of damage. So we'll just spawn some enemies here to show this in action. So there's the seeking missiles going all over the place. So right now the damage shooting turrets are firing at enemies pretty close to me. This damage reducing turret will be a little hard to show just because the enemies deal 1 damage and it reduces their damage by 35%. So they're doing 0.65 damage. So it's a little hard to see, but if you saw, it's not quite going down by 1 each time. And the slowing turret, now all the enemies around me are slowed, but I can drag them out if I so choose to do so. Now, to show off the destroy, so that was destroying the damaging turrets, and let me just destroy the speed ones so they... So if I destroy the shield one, then I get a shield, it absorbs a little bit of damage and then explodes around me, and it completely killed them off because it absorbs the max amount of damage. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Oh, and also these are items that I've added. They don't have textures yet, just if you were confused. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed.